Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. The text came in while I was standing in the grocery store aisle, holding a frozen turkey I didn't really know how to cook. We need to talk before Thursday. And please don't overreact. I read it 3 times, the fluorescent lights humming above me, carts squeaking past like nothing in the world had shifted. But something had. You don't send a message like that 3 days before Thanksgiving unless the ground is already cracking open. I typed back, okay, what's going on? The little typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then nothing. That silence followed me home, rode beside me in the car, sat across from me at dinner while my wife, Lauren, picked at her food and smiled too carefully. Work's been busy, she said, not looking up. She'd been saying that a lot lately. Busy. Tired. Late meetings. Missed calls, she explained away with quick kisses on my cheek. I told myself marriages go through seasons. Stress. Distance. Normal things. Because the alternative, the thing scratching quietly at the back of my mind, felt too ugly to name. The next morning, I noticed her phone light up on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. I wasn't the kind of husband who checked phones. I used to be proud of that. But the screen showed a name I didn't recognize. Evan. Can't wait for Thursday. I'll bring the wine. Miss you already. My stomach folded in on itself, slow and cold. I told myself it could be a coworker, a cousin, someone harmless. I stood there long enough for the screen to go dark, long enough to realize I was afraid to know more. So I didn't touch it. Not yet. Thanksgiving morning arrived wrapped in forced normalcy. The house smelled like rosemary and butter. Football murmured from the TV. Lauren moved around the kitchen with bright, nervous energy, humming under her breath like she used to when we were newly married. I kept waiting for her to say something, to confess, to explain that text. But she didn't. At 2 in the afternoon, the doorbell rang. Can you get that? She called, hands deep in a mixing bowl. I opened the door expecting her sister. Maybe her parents. Instead, a tall man stood on the porch holding a bottle of red wine and a polite, uncertain smile. You must be Daniel, he said. I'm Evan. For a moment the world made no sound at all. Behind me I heard Lauren's footsteps stop. The silence between the 3 of us felt thick enough to choke on. Oh, she said softly. You're here. You're here. Not what are you doing here? Not surprise. Recognition. Something inside my chest cracked, quiet, clean, permanent. Dinner tasted like nothing. Conversation floated above the table, thin and fragile. Evan talked about work, about traffic, about anything safe. Lauren laughed too quickly at his jokes. Their eyes met in small, careful glances they thought I wouldn't notice. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every memory rewrote itself in real time. Late meetings. Missed calls. That careful distance in bed. I kept thinking, maybe I misunderstood. Because the truth sitting across from me felt unbearable. Halfway through dessert, Lauren set her fork down with shaking fingers. Daniel, we should talk. Evan stared at the table. I already knew. How long? I asked quietly. Her eyes filled with tears. It wasn't supposed to. How long, Lauren? 3 months. 3 months of goodnight kisses. 3 months of grocery lists and inside jokes and pretending. 3 months of me loving someone who was already leaving. We talked in the living room while Evan waited outside like a misplaced guest at the wrong house. I didn't mean to hurt you, she kept saying. As if pain required intention. As if betrayal asked permission first. Do you love him? I asked. She hesitated. That was answer enough. I care about you, she whispered. Care. Such a small word for 10 years of marriage. I packed that night. Not angrily. Not dramatically. Just slowly, folding clothes into a suitcase while the house held its breath. Lauren stood in the doorway crying, saying my name like it might still reach me. Where will you go? I zipped the bag. Cancun, I said. Sounded absurd even to me. But a week earlier I'd seen a cheap flight online. Some impulsive dream about beaches and sunlight. I'd almost told her about it. Now it felt like the only place far enough away from this table, this house, this version of my life that had just ended. Please don't leave like this, she said. I looked at her, really looked. At the woman I'd built a future around. At the stranger standing in my doorway. You already left, I said softly. The airport smelled like coffee and jet fuel and possibility. I sat by the window watching planes lift into the dark, feeling something unfamiliar beneath the grief. Not happiness. Not yet. But space. Silence. Room to breathe. My phone buzzed once in my pocket. Lauren's name on the screen. I let it ring until it stopped. Outside, another plane rose slowly into the night sky, carrying strangers toward new versions of their lives. For the first time in months, I realized I didn't need answers anymore. I didn't need explanations or apologies or one more conversation trying to glue something already broken. Some endings arrive like storms. Others arrive quietly, at a Thanksgiving table, with a stranger holding wine. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is pick up a suitcase, walk toward an empty gate, and choose the life waiting on the other side of goodbye.